Shoma Juji in Japoroni to Sonji Kanjungo, Ronson Chukuan Sultan. Tavela Mishavla so and the dozen roble of Nachulai. Sisson Dunga Chandra Chejin Chenya, so may Fonshua Jelas, Sanchan, near the dungeon. Tamba Nam Junun Tatar, the souls. Good morning, good afternoon. Now, also, when we are thinking about benefit ourselves and also benefit for the others, and in this perspective, please generate kindness, compassion, and concerning everybody's benefit. And that is the very important attitude or first moment when we are doing something. And now it's like according to your kindness or the compassions, and you are really to be serious and honestly to checking and how it is going on in our life. And also in our life, we have two kinds of tasks. And one is like a normal task and unavoidable. And that is like daily our task. And this kind of daily task, anyway, everybody's doing. And also when they are undertake all doing the daily tasks, of course there is some different succeed or the successions or different way doing, and also they receive or the achieve. Also it's like different. Someone's doing same in the daily task, but not very much succeed. Someone's doing same in the daily task, but very much succeed. Of course, in this short life, and also there's a different type of we have lifestyle. It's not same, but based our daily task is okay, same. That you don't need to say and no need to mention, everybody knows very well. But most our humans only rely on the daily tasks, kind of to work and to do something for the income things. Income, food, clothes, shelter, money, and these things. But of course, different, as I said, it's like the result, but I don't know why I use but anyway, it's nevertheless, someone is to succeed, to have everything, but still not happy. And then it's yesterday we are talking about coding our 5 faculties, and connect to the 5 object desirables, then it's like our belonging. This is like kind of difficult to say. Am I eye? Am I nose? Am I ear? Am I my body or what? But the 5 faculties or the 5 consciousness, it is like kind of the aspect of the I, myself. And each faculty is like same, I, myself. I, myself, I, my principle, my mind is. Like using the 5 faculties, receive form, sound, smell, so on. But I, my mind is never satisfied. To have more, I need more. And then it's like this 5 faculty is all the times hungry, all the times complain, all the times. Then it's whatever you have, it's like never to have contentment, sufficient. They all the times say need more, more, more. Now, quoting that, some beings' faculties, 5 faculties, has everything's fantastic, like full of their form, smell, and food, so on. But complain, anxiety, depressed, unhappy, cry, angry, and what can we do now? And this kind of situations occurred, then people are searching different perspective way. Then finally founded someone's spiritualities. And then it's like kind of rely on some externally, some spirit. You say God or ghost or deity or something else. And this kind of in the space, non-humans. And when they're born, when they have, we don't know. But human beings created. And if you rely on that kind of, you get some supernatural power, or it is like kind of the kind of clairvoyance. And someone they received, and they can fly, they can make different magic illusion, and for some other perspective, very much surprise. Then we have second task, the task of spirituality. Then if you rely on the mentally to the spiritualities, maybe when you are sad, angry, happy, is a little connected, it's kind of support to the mind. Then we have the spiritualities activities. Of course, there's hundreds they created. We have hundreds in our world create the spirituality. And each in the single spiritualities, they're talking about compassion, kindness. Without talking about compassion, kindness, spirituality doesn't work. And that is like a main rule. But then it's like to coming more close. Okay, any kind of spirituality is talking about compassion and love and wisdoms. And then it's like you need to more close. Then it's also we are enthusiastic. And it's wonderful. You more to follow up the spiritual systems. Maybe you can to develop compassion. We say so compassion is nice. That we listen to the compassion, to study the compassion, kindness. Just basically kindness. Kindness is nice. If someone's kind to me, nice. And if I become kind to others, nice to easily communicate, easily to be together, and easily to work together, talk together, nice. Compassion, we got this word, kindness. They're nice. And then is wisdom. Yeah, wisdom, yes. There's like kind of small wisdom, middle wisdom, profound, extraordinary wisdom. Yes, we have. When we look in our societies, someone's incredible intelligent. They can create, they can to understand very fast, quickly. Someone is in the middle, someone's a little stupid, better than the animal. And like this, okay, then wisdom is also nice. Then this tool kind of this, using this any kind of spiritualities. In the creation of the spiritualities, need a tool, like same as our New Age, same as our psychologic, same as our like kind of this sort, that need these tools. And like a kind of forgiveness, for the love, for the kindness. This is a very wonderful word. If someone's really follow, also it's nice. And then it's like more than the 2,000 years ago, it's like now our present, our path. We kind of follow the one spiritualities, is called the Buddhist. When we undertook or take this path, and think is also probably we analyze, of course, inside talking about compassion, kindness, wisdom. And then we is like go to basically who is founded this path. Oh, there is one Indian guy, his name is Siddhartha, and the son of the king of Shatya. And his biography, look at, yes, his biography is wonderful, extraordinary kindness. And finally, how he showing to us and teaching to us, sending message to us, that is, he says, like, I'm telling to you my individual, my own liberation path. Wow, that is a wonderful, nice liberation. And yes, I must like continue. I didn't change nothing. Maybe you perspective, something is appear outside, but keep my own body, keep my own 5 faculties, using all this, like, kept just as it is. But the inner insight to more develop my wisdom, compassion together. And then it's like inside I understood something. How we can to deal in this our daily or our life, or how we can to understand to the phenomena. Then it's like something is if you realize it or understood your minds, then it's like kind of your mind is the king of all these 5 faculties, 5 objective desirables, and your mind is become the mastery, like kind of control to your faculties, the objectives, object of the desirables. And then it's like you are not depends your faculties or the object of the desirables. Mind can to maintain mind itself. And then there's something peace, tolerant. It's a kind of the free of the sufferings. And that I'm telling to you. Then I say, oh yes, very nice. We are followed. When we are took in this path, then also we need to check which kind of the Buddha's compassion, which kind of Buddha's wisdom, and which is Buddha's love. And this we need to analyze. And we're talking about the mind of the Buddha, the wisdom of the Buddhas. And then it's the impartiality, impartial compassion. Okay, which is message we are listening to the Buddha's message? To take example yourself, do not kind of the hurting or any creatures, and any kind of externally there's some existence of the creature or the animals or the living beings, or living beings or beings. They are the same as the yourself that he said I discovered. And like all the minds, specifically we need to say is material's minds. It's the same as your minds. And looking for happy, try to avoid sufferings. In this perspective, your compassion is to sending to all of them, not kind of for the deities, not for the suffering sentient beings, not for only the humans, not for only the something else. Everything you need to think about. And that is like a kind of the very much broad, large, extraordinary. And also it's like a really included, nothing kind of excluded. And pervasive, and also it's like really kind of the huge, the biggest, the deepest, tolerant. And in this perspective, compassion's very nice. This kind of compassion, whoever have, really is best our path. We can to take example. If it says like some partiality compassion, maybe someone is to a little bit wrong way. It's in our sentient beings, divided. Some sentient beings, it's just a vegetation or don't need to care. We need to use to them, and they haven't got much mind, a little bit, in the Buddhist perspective, incorrect. Or this is not our societies, and out of our societies, then it's like it's a kind of vegetation, or we need to destroy it. That is also is not really kind. And also this is my family, friend, my society, my own part, need to compassion, need to help. But this part is my enemy, and it's a kind of the not belong to our societies. We better to destroy it or to kill or to no need to send in compassion. A little bit partial. In our book, it says like, enemies also need our compassion. Families also need our compassion. And also it's like, if we really to analyze, we cannot to make this kind of partialities. Why? Because maybe really to research, to check who is really our friend, who is our really enemy. We don't know that. Sometimes we think someone's disturbed to us very much. Maybe it's we think enemy, and it's not maybe best our helper. And maybe we think that is my lover, that is my family, that is my close, maybe worst disturbed. Therefore, if we really to analyze who's enemy, who's friend, we don't know. But anyway, we can to look at the enemy side, and the friend, family side. Both the mind is exactly the same. Our family, friends also, they want to happy, they don't want suffering. Also enemies, families, also they want to be happy, they don't want to be suffer. And then it's like, we are also, it's like, maybe someone's perspective, we are those beings' enemy. Maybe they chose to us angry, hatred, they want to destroy it. And some in our family's perspective, we are different families. And then it's like, one side is very scaring, fear, don't want to meet, and like this. Other side is want to more close, like this. And then it's like, we can to say, I understand. This side is, I'm afraid. Maybe I'm thinking, maybe I lost my life, maybe they're more disturbed. Then I have like kind of more sufferings. And then exactly if I'm angry to those others, I'm sending my anger, my hesitation, I want to do this, of course they're also suffering. And if they like, and my enemies towards to me, completely give anger, kind and compassion, so something is released in our heart. Oh, wonderful, thanks. And anyway, it's like wonderful. After your fears are gone, you don't need to care. It's like same as become your families. Then it's in like this. Then it's like to have some partiality and anger and love, this kind of strugglings, is not very good. And therefore, it's our compassion. When we are generate compassions, we need impartial compassion to concerning sentient beings. And our teacher, peerless teacher, Buddha, also, he's at the beginning generated impartial compassion. In the middle, he took this path to practice everyday impartial compassion. Not only on the one side, he concerned all the single sentient beings, everything, how I can to make liberate, how I can to help them. I want to be like kind of useful for them. Then it's like this kind of become more extraordinary. And to develop that, and then automatically also wisdom is developed. Wisdom's more understand, compassion is become more bigger, strong, more developed. Then they are supporting each other. Then finally it's a combined, that the wisdom's movement is compassion. Essence of the compassions is become the wisdom's. Then wisdom perspective understand everything, what is right, wrong, and in the compassion's perspective, everything is to follow the exactly, never against the true truth, relative truth, absolute truth. Then it's like mind is become the big tolerant, universal, and mind is become like kind of the basic source of the phenomena. This kind of our mind is needed. Then is we call the enlightened. He said it's like if you have this significant, the unification of your compassion, the wisdoms, but you don't need to change externally, environment, family, and also say your body, nose, eye, ear, male or female. Don't need to change. You keep as it is, but you inside your mind is become extraordinary. And that is like needed. Like this, then is that is our Buddha's principally telling to us. And then we are trying to follow up and this, his methods, like kind of apply to study his methods, his like kind of the teachings. And also it's a, how do you say, it's like in the compassion perspective. And of course, we cannot against it. Relative truth, absolute truth. In the relative aspect, and how we can to follow, how we cannot against the relative realities. And in the relative realities, everything comes from cause. Relative things, whatever in the result something, very much depends the cause. And cause and conditions, something appear. There is a nature characteristics. And then it's like while we need to experience, it's something appear. Like fire, waters coming. Maybe it's some container to put coming together, boil waters coming. And like some is like something is coming joy together, something is appear. Like a kind of the cause and the conditions coming together is produced something. Then there is the result. This result is like very much depends on the cause and conditions. Then there, and all these results may be created next step, going on. And therefore now we are studying in the relative realities. Of course, relative reality, there's many different form, shape, color. Best form is the human. And also relative things are very much changeable, impermanent. And also in the relative, there's also relative, means it's relative. The name of the relative, the meaning of the relative, it means suffering. There is something is like kind of incorrect. We say it's defects of the relative. And also in the relative, everything is, as I said, is like comes from the cause. The result defines the cause. Now we are in the relative perspective talking about the causalities. And causalities, in the relatively, there is the positive cause, negative cause, and also negative result, positive result. And we are studied 10 negative movement, 10 positive movement. All of them are the correct, absolutely. It is not kind of the mysterious, it's not kind of the indirect, it's not kind of the exaggeration. 10 negative is obvious, we can to see. And if we learn to this 10 subject matter of the both negative and positive, it's a very much, it's a truth. Like kind of the negative of the killing, negative of the taking, stolen things. It is negative. If you say, oh, that is not really negative. What do you mean it's not negative? It is like in these 10 negative actions, and if you are really is pure mind, you concerning the benefit for the others, probably your action is a little bit negative, but maybe it's maybe not negative. This perspective is exceptional. Otherwise, for example, if someone's argue, 10 negative are not negative. You need to do, it's not negative, I want to argue. 100%. It is not kind of the spiritual or religious word. It is really is a benefit in our word, in our daily life. It is the truth. And it is maybe it's a Buddha's system or not. It is the telling the truth. It is kind of the 10 negative actions. For example, you can to say in the Buddha say, maybe if you, of course, it's like against to me, that is the very negative. Or maybe if you say criticize to me, this is negative. If you don't follow me, it's this negative. You are like not the part of the Buddhas, then you are negative, this is negative. I'm not sure. He's never said like this. And this is negative or not. But you disturb to the other sentient beings, that is the negative. That is why, because making suffering. It's absolutely. When we are like one by one, we already studied these 10 negative actions. Really 10 negative actions. If we can to select more to close, if someone is to practice this, to stop these 10 negatives, wow, it's a wonderful person. Really, in the human society, wonderful, really wonderful. And also, it's someone's doing these 10 negative actions. I don't know. It's maybe rich, maybe powerful, maybe very high positioned. But if this person doing 10 negative actions, I wouldn't to follow. And it's difficult to be closed. How you can to trust? How you can to take refuge in that? Impossible. Even if you are the spirituality teachers, maybe practitioners, you say, I have a higher realization, but I'm doing the 10 negative. Don't worry. I'm not sure that. Highest realization is a Buddha. When it's after he become enlightenment, he never dreamed. And we can look his biographies. He become more strict. And he never say, I'm enlightened man, I can to kill, I can to steal, I can do sexual misconduct. He never say like this. That is like this. If your is like it's like maybe mentally something, of course, you can to achieve, maybe to connect. There is some in the Buddha says, some enlightened to be in the like butcher, hunter, so on. That perspective, that is a different perspective. But generally, like Buddha himself, when he became the enlightenment, he's more caring about relative realities. And also, it's like the 10 positive actions is very much truth. And then it's like also it's like everything depends on our actions result. Really, it's like this is maybe we need to more to check. Sometimes we have some result, like kind of the situation certainly change, some certainly situations coming up, and then it's like unpleasant things happen, pleasant, this kind of sometimes coming up. Then it's like we say, why? I don't know, it's like this. But everything is arise from our actions, the causalities, cause. And because it's like the cause, positive, negative, like the cause is action. Of course, in the Dharma says like the more in the problems cause is ignorant and the movement of the ignorant. The basically, of course, disturbing emotions. And like this, then it's like we are checking all the like kind of the actions. And also it's like when we are doing something, we act something, and this is making something cause in the futures. And these actions make a cause, And this, of course, produces the result. It's sometimes immediately, sometimes it's take time, maybe tomorrow, maybe next month, maybe next year, or maybe it's many, many years after, like this kind. Yesterday, we are talking about there's two different type of the histories. For example, like kind of the Buddha's histories. One is like a guy, and he lost his calf, and he's searching that, and suddenly there's one monk. He's like changing his cloth and a big contain, and then it's like in the forest he saw the smoking, and then the owner of the calf went to there, and then there's one monk. He's like something cooking, but he look at he saw the meat. And also monk itself, he looked at, there is like kind of the meat. And then both sides like the surprise. And their owners think wrong way. And maybe you killed my calf. And he took to front of the king, say, these monks took my calf, killed, and he's cooking in the forest. And of course the king punished him to put into the hole on the ground. But then few days after, his owner of the calf, mothers found the calf. Calf was not dead. And then he was very sorry. I done so horrible things. And he says like, went to there and asked the king. And then king said, okay, I will to say after the 7 days. And then after the 7 days, then he asked, but king got distracted, and he forgot the 6 month. These monks need to stay in the hole. And of course, this monk has a teacher, and he has a very special student. I don't know, they're flying. Or something is from the palace says, our teacher, this monk is innocent, and can you release? And then king went there, already passing the 6 month. He says, sorry, and I forgot it. It's terrible I done. It's the king says, sorry. Then the monk said, no, it's not your fault. It's my fault. Then it's like, how your fault? How it says, oh, this is my karmic result. How it is, king says like this, or maybe says, oh yeah, this once my lifetime, I was thief, I stolen one calf, killed, and then his owners chasing to me, and I ran to in the forest, and there was one Pachik Buddha practicing, and he threw out his calf meat there, and he ran, and then his owners arrive, and there's one practitioners. And the owners is like this practitioner, meditators killed. And he is like, how to say, accusated this meditator, you killed. And then they put in the hanging. And also it's like when he is hanging, and then it's like, that was also his stories. It's one history, it's like Buddha's families, Shakya lineages comes from that. And there's very nice his stories. And something is like his sperm is finally, I think this Pachika Buddha died. And almost certainly it's like, how do you say, it's, some his student or some sanghas, they came, and this Pachika Buddha is not killed, and this killers others. And then there is one Kambo. He came, and then he says, oh monk, the meditator, why you did like this? Why you killed this calf? And then the monk said, I never killed, I'm innocent. And then if you don't kill, then why they are punished? Because they couldn't find any. Then he prays, if I kill, your face is like become normal. If I don't kill, I'm innocent, maybe your face change. His very strong prayers. And then this Kambo or this Acharya's face has become gold, completely changed. And this is kind of the showing the innocent. And then they asked to king, but king came and then it's analyzed. But it's like something he's like conditions he died, but his sperm is fell into the like a sugar tree, and this is the kind of this sugar tree has become the warmth, and then there is certainly some humans appear. It is that is like a kind of the Shakya lineage. It's like sometimes it's like Buddha's name is the lineages is like sugar tree family citizen. But anyway, that's the but this kind of the accusation, these thieves and reborn. He said many lifetimes I repaid, and he said maybe this is my last repayment. Maybe my purification's finished. It's not your fault, it's my fault, like this. And also then is there is his story, like this is. And now it's like, also it's like Shakya himself, Buddha Shakyamuni himself, he's talking about like his like kingdoms, some armies, many killed, and he's talking. And also he's received some thunder or the wood, some wood hurted his feet, and he talking about leftover the like karmic debt, like this. And then it's like today it's like talking about maybe it's in India there is some kings. For example, yesterday it's like his story, the end of that suffering I have now just experience in this life, where the last of them, and this stories to pay repayment is many times. And now it's like another history, how it is maybe more is like Nangachuna's history, and easily you can read. Another example is the story of the son of Sura Babihadar, and they should. On the India king, one day, the prince's mother gave him a seamless silicon robe. Seamless is like kind of no like kind of sewing mark. And it's extraordinary, like kind of the Tushidan robe. He did not want to wear. Mother offered to him, but the son, he doesn't want to wear that. It immediately, he doesn't want, because maybe he says something, saying, Mom, I shall put it on the day I inherit the kingdom. Inherit means it's like received. When a king died, and the son is become the inherit, like to all the portions of the heritage, or the portions of the king successor is become the son. And then it's like mother replied, it's like, you never will inherit the kingdom, this kingdom, said his mother. And also she says, that could only happen if your father, the king, died. Of course, you receive the inherit. Firstly, your father of king should to die, but your father and the teacher of Nagarjuna have the same life force. And there is like kind of a very big connection is with Nagarjuna's. And Nagarjuna's very nice history, probably you already know it very well. When is Nagarjuna's born, as also Nagarjuna's parents also is very rich, some king or something, But when he born and then asked some rishi or like kind of the yogis, they said it's maybe Nagarjuna is going to maybe 7 days alive. Then he's going to die. And then his parents was very much scared. And then they took into Nalanda, and some is like asked to them is to make a puja. And then there's one master yogi and to make some puja. And he didn't die 7 days after. Then he survived. And then after it's a little bit kind of sick or something. Then they offered to the monastery in the Nalanda University some days. And he became the like kind of the monk. Then he studied in the Buddha sculptures. And then afterward, I think it's here like kind of also is some practice deity. Then he's become a very, 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 very famous scholar. And he was in the Nalanda University teacher. And specifically, his like profession, the teacher is the second teaching of the Buddha, Pajinaparamita. And also it's like he wanted to follow up that, and he keep this tradition. And then it's like that time is also the Buddha's teachings almost like disappearing. And I wanted to in the his areas, and in the more north and the south India, and it is his parents' house palace is now is under the water, because they made a huge reservoir, yes, how do you say, and for the electricity. And but in this valley is like this, and two valleys, and then in the Join Valley they stopped. They made reservoir. Reservoir is very, very huge, very big lake now. All valleys filled. In the middle there is the Nagarjuna's meditation areas, and we took boat. We went to there. It's nice, and that times they took water. They dig on the top of the mountain, and maybe they collect the rainwater, and also maybe and then there's his temple. He's like but everything's destroyed, almost nothing, just trace. And his some statues are like broken statue, and he's like teaching areas. Everything's parjura. And then it's like anyway, he's like teaching there, but he's like more focused on the Buddha's teaching. And that time is also is like we have history of the Asangas. Asanga is like follow up the more like kind of the Bhutamahil Zulakon universities, and he's like more follow the third teachings, and more follow up the Buddha's activities. Maybe the both sometimes kind of the disagreement, argument is like this. One is to follow the second teaching, one is to follow the third teaching. Of course, the basic teaching of the Buddhas, there's no different, but according to the followers, they're a little bit different. And then it's like a second teaching is like very much connect to the Buddha's view. And last, this third teaching is Buddha's more conduct and more principle compassion aspect. But of course, it's like the Nagarjuna's also, of course, is like follow the third, but more emphasize that, because it's like maybe that benefit for in the future, next generations. I think therefore these two teachers, like Asanga and the Nagarjunas. And then afterward, it's like also Nagarjuna, he founded many Buddha's teaching. Is like, of course, they say this Nagarjuna is like some in the certain perspective, he has a very much connect to the Nangas. And also it's like some in the histories, he went into the Nangas. And then he took this, there is like, we have the 12 Pajina Paramatas takes Buddha's teaching. And that is like kind of he's founded. And that one is, he said, he founded in the Nangat. And of course, someone says maybe it's how he went to Nanga. But of course, this is extraordinary, exceptional histories. But anyway, he found there is the 12 Pajina Paramatas. Generally speaking, there is the Pajina Paramatas is like kind of the three type of, like a short Pajina Paramata, middle Pajina Paramata, large Pajina Paramata. And then each one has three. Short one has large, middle, short. Middle one also itself has large, middle, short. Large one also very large, middle, short. The large and large one is a very nicely, one is like kind of one Chinese, like a Pentita. It is a great master. He went to in India. I think it's like kind of someone says a Tangxing, and I don't know it, but translated into the Chinese language. But unluckily, now we lost. That one is a very big one. And then is the middle one is, we have now still, they said, maybe. And then is the large, short one, it's like now we have, of course. Others, all of them is we existence. The large one is not really we lost. And now in the currently, in the old, is libraries in China, there's many Buddha's teachings. We are now like new translating into the Tibetan language, maybe also into the Herodai Sutta, they say. And this one is like, because China is like become Buddhist, it's like almost after the few, maybe 100 years, they came. And also that time is some Chinese great master, some very diligent student went to in India, they studied, they translated. But then it's generation after them, then it's like big problems. And then of course, still there is very much in China. There are many holy places, many is like kind of the Buddha's teachings, and there is like this. And then it's Nangachuna's these 12 pages, 12 volumes of the Nangachuna he founded. This we have now. And all others is also translated into, how to say, in Tibetan language, we existence now. And like this, the Nangachuna is like a very great Buddhist master, and of course he's really realized he like kind of really to understood the same Buddhas. And of course it's like he's more like kind of the emphasizer of the emptiness. And also it's like there's one thing I want to tell you. In China, it's like most Mahayana's Buddhist country, and also it's like very much follow up the middle teaching, second teachings, and also it's like more emphasize to the emptiness. And then it's like there is like a kind of some Chinese Buddhist masters is like a kind of meditate in the emptiness very much. And this emptiness is like no form, no shape, no color. Sometimes like look at the world. And sometimes it's like also this influence in Japan, is other countries. And also it's like there is like a happy Buddha. You know, happy Buddha is, he's once is a little bit, he's understanding the teaching of the Pajina Paramata very well, but he's taught a little bit kind of the wrong. In China, it's like he's taught to, you just to maintain in the nature emptiness of your mind, then you don't need to do nothing. It's like a little bit kind of the same as the great perfections. And you maintain that, you don't need to avoid the negative action, you don't need to collect the positive actions. if you to maintain and this empty nature, and then you don't need to nothing. That is enough. Then someone's to, yeah, maybe that. Then there's like kind of the, not kind of follow up the causalities, because in the emptiness perspective, there's no existence of the causalities, they say. And then it's a little bit against the relative realities, and they forgot it. Then it's like there's not much activities to stop the negative actions, to more accumulating about the positive actions. And there's a little bit turmoil. And then it's like this came to in Tibet. And also in the some in Lhasa, some in Ando, this influence, we have some monastery create this happy Buddha. And then also to be very happy. And someone's practitioners, that's right, it's emptiness. Emptiness, no form, no shape, no color, no virtue, no non-virtuous like this. And then to practice. And then it's like people's doing, to involvement of the positive, negative things become very much lesser. And then it's a slowly, a little bit too much nihilistic way is occurring. And then it's like Kamalashila, he came from the India, and then it's a little bit kind of argumentation to say that happy Buddha, you cannot to say like this. It is like, of course, in your mind, you can to maintain this, like the extraordinary meditation of the emptiness, but in the conduct perspective, this need to like kind of follow up the relative realities. Then they argue a little bit, and then it's Kamalashila is of course the winner. And then afterward, it is like then happy Buddha needs to go back. And then it's like sometimes in this days is like how do you say, it's like great perfections, a little bit, this happy Buddha style. For example, if you practice the great perfections, oh yes, you maintain the nature of the realities, you don't need to give up any negative actions, and you don't need to positive act. Something is very extraordinary to maintain. And some in Tibet Buddhist schools, they say, that is too much. And this is like kind of the happy Buddha's view. And then it's a little bit nihilistic ways. But this is like kind of the, is you studied in our Sheda books. There's like a gradualism. One is the gradualism. One is instantaneous. And the two followers like instantaneous, and one moment you can to maintain the natural this state. And also it's like some, and the qualified teacher and the suitable container of the student fortunate coming together, they introduced the nature realities. Maybe one in the moment you receive like this, and then you go beyond any activities, no need abandon, no adopt. You just like kind of to, how do you say, everything is you under the controls. And I mean, it's like you can to make this kind of instantaneous systems here. Instantaneous, you become the enlightenment. You can to maintain to the natural state. And gradualism, you like the based front. Basically you go to gradually. It's like kind of sequentially. And step by step, one you go to. This is the most best one. And like this, some great perfection practitioners, there's instantaneous, like a kind of the Berutsana's student, Mopam Gumbose, the beggar of Mopamgo, and there was 80 years, one old guy, he met the Beruchana, and he just says like many years he was reading Beruchana. Certainly he made his devotion, and Beruchana's he's like kind of the stick to direct into his heart, and he gives some teaching, just 1 or 2 pages, he become immediately enlightenment. And this kind of the instantaneous, like very fast one is, then is you can to meditate direct into the empty natures. Maybe you don't need to abandon negative action or this kind of movement, like kind of the go beyond any kind of these strugglings. And also there's one king of the one in Tibet, king has made the Guru Rinpoches. And like this kind of immediately, like 25 disciple of the Guru Rinpoches. Otherwise, it's a little bit gradualism is the bestest to study basically and then to go to slowly. Then you reach like this. And therefore, it's, says Nagachuna's his story. And also in China and some Japan, for example, you follow up the Zen masters. And also Zen, there is like, one is the Zazen's Zen. It's so fantastic, very much deep about the empty aspect. Very deep, 24 hours meditating. But sometimes very much dangerous. And I told you I have one friend, Koreans. He's like per day, 8 hours minimum he meditating on the wall. There's no picture, no kind of the shape, color. A little bit Sufi. It's like kind of the, and also it's like Islam's. And of course it's different, okay? But it's like this, focus on. And once it's like, he's run to me. What can I do? What can I do? I'm afraid. Why did? And certainly he's really is meditation's fantastic. His feeling is the war is disappeared, himself is disappeared, and then it's like everything is dissolved into the emptiness. He thought it's like he's lost, and then he's around. He's very much scared, and he started meditating. He cannot. He's jumping and run, and then I said, you should to follow up the teacher. This is a very good meditation. At that moment, you need to more good guide lines. For example, if you can look, someone is like a meditate, maybe Zen, some meditators, many years meditate, and also is talking about emptiness. And someone is like kind of the thing, enlightenment in emptiness. And then that means I'm disappeared, and completely nothingness, nihilistic ways. Then they say, I don't want to become that. Then they make big mistake. That is not like this. It is like our nature of the reality is, we say is the emptiness, the using this emptiness, but nature of reality is not nothing nihilistic way. That is, we need to think. Sometimes it's like when Zen is, I would use Zazen's teachings like really like kind of the Dzogchen, really like kind of great perfections teaching. But some in the like finally there is a pity instruction need to guide land. Then it's a fantastic like this. This is just Nagachuna's story. Nagachuna have the same life force. So there is no chance that he will die as long as Nagachuna is still alive. And she said, darling, your father's never died. You cannot to instilled, or what do you say? Inherit, yes, inherit, never. And since Nagachuna has power, ever his own life spent, your father will never die. This, of course, and this like kind of some is connected to the Nagachunas. Nagachunas after is like become the deathless. They say this Nagachunas life over than the 500 years. I think it's like there's many little bit different way, but they said he was like 500 years old. And that is why many of your elder brothers have already died without inheriting the kingdoms. And also your like kind of mother and other your elder brothers, brothers already died, and they never got like kind of the inheriting the kingdoms. So what then is like mother say like this, and then son say, so what can I do? Her son asked, and then is a mother, of course, is a wrong order. Go to see the teacher Nagachuna and ask him to give you his head. He will agree. Why? because he is a Bodhisattva. And Bodhisattva, if you ask whatever you want, the Bodhisattvas give. And when he gives his head, then you can to kill him, then your father surely dies. I can see no other solution. Mother give very bad advice. And of course, there's nothing she can't find solutions. The boy went to see Nagarjuna and asked him for his head and cut it off and take it. And Nagarjuna says like this. And the master Nagarjuna said like this. The boy took a sword and struck at Nagarjuna's neck, like with knife sword. But nothing happened, impossible to cut Nagarjuna's neck. It's like Nagarjuna say, the blunt had cut through 10 airs. And like kind of when he used sword, it is like kind of he's using in the like kind of the space, nothing kind of to cut. And there's Nagarjuna's body is like kind of transparent, penetrated. The swords go through it, but cannot kill to the Nagarjuna. And then the weapons cannot harm him. Nagarjuna says, oh, you're using the sword, but cannot to harm me. The master explained it because 500 lifetimes ago, I entirely purified myself of all the fully maturing effect of having used weapons. And like kind of the using, hurting to the weapons. And this one is like he said, before the 500 years, I already purified. There's nothing left of karma, like kind of nothing karmic like effect, and you cannot to kill. But however, I did kill an insect one day while cutting kusha grass. And the full effect of that act has not yet played itself out. And this effect I have, and it's not purified yet. So if you use a blend of the kusha grass, you will be able to cut off my head. And of course, this he did. And then it's like accordingly, the boy plucked a blend of the kusha grass and served Nagarjuna's head, and there's a servant and cut Nagarjuna's head, which fell to the ground, and then it's like a kind of Nagarjuna's enter parinirvana says. And it's what it says is, now I'm living for the blissful land, is Devajansi. Later I shall enter to this very Buddhism. And it's like kind of very funny. It's like they said this, we couldn't find the Nagarjuna's body is become the stone. And also head, everything. They are like kind of put different. And then sometimes they say it's coming more into colors. One day this stone is like connect, coming bind, maybe accidentally, maybe someone's rebuilt again, coming together, maybe this stone is again to be alive, the Nagarjunas. And then also he will to teach in the future. They said it's like in the future, it's like Nagarjuna is come back to again, this like historically to say like this. And now it's like even that this kind of great masters also need to purify the negative karmic affections. For of ours, it's no need to mention. Absolutely there is. Oh, I forgot it to stop. Okay, half an hour we need to stop.